As corals fight for their survival, they reproduce and populate in ways as diverse as the reefs they build. Corals reproduce in two ways: sexual reproduction, which involves the fusion of egg and sperm, and asexual reproduction, in which new corals form from a single parent. One of the most dramatic events in coral reproduction is mass spawning. Because corals are sessile, meaning they can't move, they cannot come into direct contact to mate. Instead, when environmental cues like temperature, moonlight, and tides align, many corals simultaneously release eggs and sperm, called gametes, into the water column. These gametes float to the surface, where fertilization occurs. The fertilized egg begins dividing in a process known as mitosis, producing an embryo. As the embryo continues to divide, it eventually develops into a microscopic swimming larvae called a planula. Covered in fine, hair-like structures called cilia, the planula is mobile, but too weak to swim against ocean currents. It drifts for days or even weeks, carried by the water, as it searches for a suitable hard surface, like rock or dead coral, to settle on. Once settled, it undergoes metamorphosis, transforming into a juvenile coral polyp. This polyp lays down a calcium carbonate skeleton called a corallite that gives it structural support. In another form of sexual reproduction known as brooding, male corals release sperm into the water, which is then taken in by female corals that retain their eggs. Fertilization happens internally, and the developing planula larvae are later released from the coral's mouth. Because these larvae settle nearby, brooding often increases the chances of survival due to the shorter dispersal distance. In asexual reproduction, a coral polyp creates a clone of itself through a process called budding, forming many genetically identical polyps. These shared skeletons expand the reef structure and make up what we recognize as a coral colony. During storms or strong wave action, fragments of corals can break off. If these pieces settle on a suitable surface, they may reattach and grow into new colonies, a process known as fragmentation, another form of asexual reproduction. As polyps mature, they become capable of reproducing, either sexually or asexually, continuing the coral life cycle and contributing to the growth and renewal of the reef.